Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to explore one of the most fascinating cognitive biases that impact how we see the world, the contrast-misreaction tendency. This mental flaw causes us to misjudge situations simply because of how they are presented in comparison to something else. It's why people often make irrational financial, business, and life decisions without even realizing it. Imagine walking into a store looking for a new jacket. You see a designer jacket priced at $2,000, and it seems ridiculously expensive. Then, right next to it, you find another jacket priced at $400. Suddenly, that second jacket seems like a bargain, when in reality, $400 for a jacket might still be overpriced. The $2,000 price tag was just an anchor that made the $400 option seem like a great deal by comparison. This is contrast-misreaction tendency at work. Our brains struggle to evaluate things in absolute terms, so we rely on comparisons. The problem is these comparisons are often artificial, misleading, or deliberately designed to manipulate us. Businesses, salespeople, and even politicians use this bias to shape our decisions without us even realizing it. Contrast-misreaction tendency is everywhere. In sales, pricing, hiring, marketing, investing, you name it. When something is presented next to an extreme option, it skews our perception of reality. One example is luxury car dealerships. When a customer walks in to buy a new car, the salesperson might first show them the highest-end model, packed with every feature, costing over $100,000. Then, they introduce a more moderately priced model at $60,000. Compared to the ultra-luxury model, this second car suddenly seems like a reasonable price, even if it's still expensive. Customers often end up spending more than they originally planned because the contrast made the second option feel like a deal. The same principle applies in real estate. A real estate agent may first show a client an overpriced, outdated house for $1.5 million. Then, they take them to a well-maintained home priced at $1 million. The second house suddenly seems like an incredible value, when in reality it might not be a good deal at all. The contrast tricks the buyer into making a decision based on perception rather than actual worth. Contrast-misreaction tendency is also a major factor in investing decisions. Investors often compare a stock's current price to its past high rather than evaluating its true intrinsic value. If a stock was once priced at $500 and has now fallen to $250, many investors see it as a bargain, when in reality, it may still be overpriced based on fundamentals. The previous high creates an artificial reference point that distorts judgment. A classic example of this bias influencing business strategy was Netflix's early pricing model. When streaming first launched, people were used to renting DVDs individually from stores. Netflix offered a subscription model that allowed unlimited rentals for a fixed monthly fee. Compared to paying per rental, the subscription model seemed like an unbelievable deal. The contrast between the old system and the new offer made customers feel like they were getting incredible value, which helped Netflix dominate the industry. Another case is the airline industry. Airlines frequently list a flight's original price as something much higher than what customers actually pay. When a ticket is shown as $600, now on sale for $300, travelers feel like they are getting a great deal, even if $300 was the normal price all along. The artificial price anchor makes the discounted price seem far more attractive than it really is. Beyond business and investing, this tendency influences personal decisions as well. When people choose where to live, they often compare homes in vastly different neighborhoods, leading them to either overpay or settle for less than they should. If someone first visits an extremely expensive neighborhood, their expectations shift, and even a moderately high-priced home might seem like a bargain in comparison. This bias also affects relationships. People often assess their happiness, not by objective standards, but by comparing their situation to someone else's. A person who is generally happy in their career might suddenly feel unsatisfied if they compare their salary to a friend who earns significantly more. The contrast skews their perception of their own success and contentment. Even in hiring decisions, contrast-misreaction tendency plays a role. A company interviewing a weak candidate first, followed by an average candidate, may perceive the second person as highly qualified, when in reality, they might not be exceptional at all. The contrast makes them appear more impressive than they actually are. So how do you avoid falling for this cognitive bias? The key is to focus on absolute value rather than relative comparisons. Instead of asking whether something looks like a good deal compared to an extreme alternative, ask yourself whether it's truly worth the price or effort on its own merits. In investing, rather than comparing a stock's price to its previous highs, evaluate the company's financial health, competitive position, and future earnings potential. Just because something is cheaper than it was before doesn't mean it's a good investment. In shopping, take a step back when faced with discounted prices. Instead of looking at the fake original price, ask whether the product is actually worth the cost to you. In business and negotiations, be aware of how initial options are being presented. If you're shown an outrageously expensive service first, recognize that it may be a tactic to make the next option seem more appealing. Recognizing contrast-misreaction tendency can help you make more rational choices, avoid manipulation, and focus on true value instead of misleading comparisons. By training yourself to see through artificial contrasts, you can protect yourself from impulsive decisions and make smarter choices in business, investing, and everyday life. If you found this insight valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more deep dives into cognitive biases, mental models, and smarter decision-making strategies. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.